MIDI.
Yep. There we go. Do, 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 2102. Alright, let's go. One off. G sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me dump score log. I'm just figuring out some goofy shit. I gotta restart. I'm gonna just restart my whole computer. Alright, this is a short intermission. Computer restarted. I'm gonna use the bathroom. seems to be all that energy I'm about to put into nothing. This interface is so quiet, Alright, so I'm on Twitter looking through questions you guys sent me, trying to find some interesting ones. I'm probably gonna answer like 10. I gotta write down each question as I'll just put a little tally mark. They're all about producer stuff though. How do you feel about the current state of emo rap? So basically with emo rap, right now it's in a rebuilding phase. So it's about all the new artists sort of catching up to where everything was and sort of refilling that gap. So that's where we're at right now. I still feel like there's a lot of new artists that can make fire music in that genre, but anybody trying to recreate what was already done, it's really not going to hit the same. That's why all the new kids have to like reinvent the wheel and then flip it in a new interesting way. V Pablo asks, advice for learning guitar keys, like how you did the piano guide and how to grow online. Well, those are two different questions. Advice for learning guitar and the keys, honestly, you gotta find your favorite songs that have those instruments in it and then learn how to play your favorite songs. Then transpose it, like play your favorite song like a couple keys higher, play your favorite song a couple keys lower, play your favorite song in a different order than the notes are played. Like if your favorite song is like, try playing it the other way, like, versus like, as you learn to like flip the chords around on different songs, you learn like how to play anywhere on the instrument really. So it's the same thing with piano. You just have to look at it and learn songs and analyze them, analyze all the different patterns you play when you're covering it, and then you'll just get better every day. Honestly, that's like the best advice I could give on that. What's the longest you've ever spent making one beat? Also, what's your favorite beat you ever made? Blaze asks. The longest I ever spent making one beat? Man, maybe like, really don't know. Because even when I was starting out, like I wouldn't go longer than like an hour. So like, I just say 1 to 2 hours. The favorite beat I've ever made? Probably Flaws and Sins. That beat is pretty tough. Robbery 2. What advice would you give to someone who's working 45 hours a week, full-time job, but still grinding beats daily when they get home, uploading to YouTube? Basically, you got to ask yourself, like, what do you want out of beats? Like, do you want to make money selling beats online? Do you want to make money by getting songs in with artists. As soon as you figure out sort of what you're trying to achieve, you can grind beats every day and you can have a job. Off rip, already what you're doing every day is getting better at that skill, and you're giving yourself a skill that nobody can sort of take away from you. So as you build your skill and you know what you want to do with it, it really comes down to like picking the exact goal you need and breaking it down into a bunch of sections. Like, okay, I want to have songs drop with an artist. You could be like, okay, I only have this amount of free time outside of my job. Okay, I'll book the studio for this time, find an artist to get in the studio that time, or when I'm outside of my job, see where I can send my beats, see how I can collab. It's really about how you balance that time. I would count your time very wisely. What's your favorite BPM? 162 used to be my favorite BPM. It probably still is. 162. How do you grow as a producer now with everyone doing it? You have to really stand out. The way you stand out is by picking something very like particular and getting better and better and better at it. If you want to make your way out as a new producer and you want to like do everything that everybody's doing, you're going to have a really hard time because you're trying to like do everything all at once. But if you really just lock in on your own sound and build a sound unique to you that nobody can like take away, that's really what's important. Once you craft your own sound and it's like evolved and it's really there, you can put it with any artist and you can blow up an artist. You can collab with people and have your own signature sauce. Like Carlos says, would you recommend using acapellas as a way to practice producing in a way that artists can actually rap on? Yes, I would suggest it. The main thing is you gotta know when there's space for the vocals to breathe, and you gotta start deleting stuff if it feels too crowded. There's a very fine line in between like too much sounds and then like right on the money where it feels like it fills up all the spaces and there's enough air for the artist to breathe on the track. B-Noise, how to avoid burnout. Honestly, the way to avoid burnout is very ironic. You just have to keep cooking up every single day. Like, the second you stop for a day, then you burn out. Like, if you keep pushing through the burnout, that doesn't make sense, but it does, because every day that you don't cook up, like, you just like distance yourself further from like where you were, and like you start to like forget muscle memory. It's like, to avoid burnout, stop making necessarily the same exact thing, but still work every day. Like, switch up the BPM, switch up the presets, switch up the time signatures. Like, try making something backwards, try making something without sound, try making something with only sounds you made off your voice memos on your phone. Like, there's so many different ways you can do the same thing you've been doing every day, but switch up the font, switch up the presets. Like, tips for self-discipline. Especially as a high school student, I find it difficult maintaining a healthy level of self-discipline, but seeing how you move inspires me. How did you get to the point where you're at mentally and as far as self-care and discipline? Honestly, the best thing you could do for self-discipline is, like, at the end of the day, like, ask yourself, like, did I get better at anything today? And, like, if not, what did I do wrong? Like, what can I do tomorrow to get better at the thing I'm working on to get to my goal? And, like, discipline means like really staying committed to it. If you don't have consistency, you don't have discipline anywhere, because as soon as you miss a day or like fail or mess up, you can't beat yourself up over that. Like, everybody does that. Every single person messes up and makes a mistake. Once you start beating yourself up, that's like an L that you're just handing yourself. But if you don't beat yourself up and you still like miss a day, like, that's a W. Like, you get back to it the next moment when you can, the next day, the next minute, next hour. And if you really want something and you have a goal like that, like, just like sit down and close your eyes, think about it. Like, just close your eyes and think about what your goals are. Think about a couple steps to get there and do that multiple times a day. Like, when it's getting tough in the day, take a break, close your eyes, just sit there and think for a second, relax. Like, don't stress yourself out because you're not where you need to be yet. Because as long as you keep pushing through and persevering, like, it sounds very corny and cliche, but like, it's really the advice that sticks and works. Like, if you stay consistent with something you want and you do it over and over, you can't yield a bad result from that. You just have to here and there like step out of the box for a second and like be in third person mode and look at yourself and be like, dang, like, what did I do today that wasn't forward moving, and what did I do today that held me back necessarily? Like,
Sit like this. This is the craziest thing ever. Like, people who sit in the windows like that.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's absolutely wild.
always end up square inside a 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 square.